Hello. So in the last episode we built this magnificent start screen. So yeah, that needs a bit of work, but it does function. So we can start the game, and we can press start, and we can start playing. So I think in this episode, I think we should build maybe another level and an end screen. So let's start doing that. So let's have a look at rooms. Now I did already have a room 2 there. I think I made that by accident, so I'm going to delete that. And I'm going to get room 1 and I'm going to duplicate it and I'm going to call it room 2. Room 2. So it's an exact copy of this level here. So I'm going to change this up a little bit now then for room 2. So maybe let's think about just making the room look totally different. So let's go to the tiles and maybe let's bring that over there a bit. Maybe let's make this a snowy level. Let's leave everything else the same. Let's make a snowy level. So let's have a think. Let's get rid of all this. I don't really know what I want this level to look like, but maybe just something simple like this would be fine. So yeah, let's do it like that, I think. Yeah, and maybe we'll make something that moves up and down here. I'm just wondering if we can jump that high. We'll have to test that. And maybe, yeah, we'll maybe just put another one here. Like that. Just something really, really simple. Doesn't have to be really complicated. So let's do that. Let's have a bit of scenery as well. Yeah, and then let's put the end there. Let's go into the solid layer, the instance layer. Let's just put the key there. That will do, I think. I don't think it needs to be really complicated for now. Let's just leave it, and we'll have some things moving up and down here to make it more challenging. So room 1, what we need to do is collect the key and then end the level. So what we need to do perhaps is, let's go into the player. Let's go into the player object. There's a few different ways we could do this. We could give the player, yeah, we did already. We've said the player has a variable called key. So when the player loads on a screen, the key is false. The player doesn't have the key. When we collect the key, we want to change that to true. So let's go to the key object, and we want to, the key object, not the key object is here, not the sprite key. And we want to add an event to the key that it's going to have a collision with the player. And we could actually do this a couple of different ways. Maybe it would be easier to do it with the player, actually. Yeah, so in the player event, you could do it either way. I'm going to do it this way for simplicity. the player is going to have an event and it's going to collide with the key. So we'll use some GML code. So we're going to put collide with key. So that's the so what we're going to do, we're going to say key equals true. So because we've collided with the key, we're setting that to be true. And then we need to destroy the key. So we can use instance destroy, and then we need we're going to use the word other, and that refers to whichever instance, whichever object the player collided with. So it would still work if we had 5 different keys and you touched one of the keys, it would just destroy that other key, that one key. Let's test that out. Let's see if that works. So we start the game. Let's go and get the key. Yeah, it destroys the key. And it should set that to be true. So the next thing is we need the exit now. So let's go to the room. There's a couple of different ways we could do this as well. So the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to go onto the tile there. I'm just going to take that off. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to make it into an object. Create object. We'll call it O door. So we've got the object door and we need to give it a sprite. So we've got the main tiles here. What I'm going to do the tile sprite, sorry. I'm going to go into the sprites for the tiles and edit it. I'm going to select this sprite here. I think I've got it all, yeah. I'm going to copy it, so I've got a copy of it. And then in the sprites, I'm going to create a new sprite. And I'm going to set the sprite size to 18 because that's how big the tiles were. And then I'm going to edit the image and I'm going to paste. And there we have the sprite for that. So I'm going to just rename it. Rename, and I'm going to call it S for sprite door. I'm going to go back to the door object and I'm going to give it a sprite. Go into my sprites and I've got S door. So we've now got a sprite object. So before I forget, because I'm likely to do that, I'm going to go to my room 1. I'm going to go to my assets and I'm going to drag over the door. Whoops. I forgot to change the layer to instances. So I'm going to drag over the door. Again, if this doesn't snap how you want it to, you could turn the grid snapping off. But again, that's okay. And then what we do is go to OPlayer. We'll do add an event. We'll do a collision with the door. So we'll use code again. And we'll say if the key is true. So remember in the when we collect the key, we set key to true. So here we're saying you can also get to these from here, by the way. we're saying if the key is true, that means we've collected the key. Collide with door. If collected the key. So if we've collected the key, we can go room, go to, next. And the advantage of this is it will always take you to the next level, as long as your levels are in the right order. So we'll check that first. So we've got the start room, room 1. So when we collect the key and go into the door, it will then go to room 2. So that looks like it might work. So let's try it. So a good way to test this is to go to there and collide with it. And we can sort out the order of the drawing in a minute. But there we go, it's not doing anything. Collect the key. And now we go to level 2. So I can't collide with these yet because I've actually got the collisions to do. So let's do the collisions. So if I go to my solid layer, you can see it's really not right. So I'm going to go to the solid layer, move this one and stretch that one, stretch that one, stretch that one, and stretch it there. I don't need that one, I'll delete it. I'll put this one here. Okay, right, that should quickly work. So let me just test that. So we know we've got to collect the key first. Collect the key. It's perfect for a speed run, this game. You'd obviously have to do it better than I am. But now we've got there, so that's okay. Yeah, so we can easily get up there, but obviously when we put things in the way, that will make it more difficult. So, and you can't fall down there because you're too wide, so we don't have to worry about that. I mean, you could design it to be lava at the bottom and a bigger gap. You could do that as well. I'm going to turn that off because we know that's fine. Right, we've now got 2 levels. What we really probably want to do is delete this. So we'll go to the room. I have no tiles for this level. Oh, I'm not on the tile there. So let me delete that and let me put in the door as an object. Let me just change that to instances. Put that in as a, that's a sprite. Put that in as an object. So that should work. When I collect the key and go in there, it will crash because I don't have a room 3. So we'll deal with that later. Let's make an end screen now. So I'm going to duplicate the start room. So we'll duplicate that and we'll call this end room. So maybe if you die, you go to the end room. So we've got start room, room 1, room 2, end room. So let's click on that. Let's edit this. So first of all, we don't want that on there. Probably don't. I've got something specific in mind for this. We don't need, oh, well, we could actually leave that controller in there, to be honest. We could leave that in. Yeah, let's go to the tiles. I have got something in mind for this. I'm going to get rid of that. And then what I'm probably going to do is go to the tile layer and probably create something else. Let's have a look. Let's have this one. Let's change the background color. Could do that on the other level actually. Let's make it like a deep red, like make it look totally different. You can actually put effects on this as well. We could try creating an effects layer. Effect type heat haze. It doesn't appear to be doing a lot. Let's try dots background. That's definitely working. Play animation. Maybe it doesn't animate when you're not in the game. I'm going to put heat haze back on just to see what it does. Sometimes that's the other thing, you might want to just play about with stuff. Just by accident, you might find something, take it off if it's not what you wanted. I was just thinking it was very hot, looks like it might be, you know, lava or something, and why not put an effect on it? Okay, so we've got that. What I want to perhaps do now is some type of sequence to animate something. So I'm going to maybe build from a game played a long time ago. It had this nice little ending in the game. So I think I'm going to do something like that. Maybe something like this. I don't quite know exactly how it's going to go yet. So the player will be stood on here and get squished. Right, so I need to create a couple of sprites for this. So I'm going to create a sprite. Oops, that's not what I wanted. I wanted a sprite. Create a sprite. Create sprite. And I want to make it probably, 18 by maybe 3. Again, it's a bit of guesswork. I want to edit the image, and I'm just going to fill that with white. And I'm going to rename this, rename S plate. And then I'm going to do another sprite, create sprite. I'm going to make this sprite. I'm going to also make this sprite 18, but I'm only going to make it 1 high. Apply. And then I'm going to edit that. And I'm probably just going to get the middle bit here and colour that in white. Okay, the reason I'm doing this will become clear in a minute. I'm going to call this rename S pole. And then I'm going to go to the sequences, and I'm going to create a new sequence. I'm going to rename it end sequence. Maybe it's not actually the end, maybe it's the death sequence, but I'll call it end sequence for now. Again, I'm just going to do this by eye. We could be measuring in it and doing all that stuff. I'm going to get the pole. There. And I'm going to just stretch it out a little bit. And then I'm going to get the plate. And I'm going to fit it there. Yeah, that will be fine. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the player and put the player there. Now the player, yeah, is going to animate, which is not really a problem. I'm going to drag these up to 60 seconds. It's not 60 seconds, 1 second with 60 frames, or 2 seconds if it's 30 frames a second. What I want to happen is I want this to come down here and squash the player, like it did in an old game on the Spectrum called Manic Miner. So to do that, basically what we're going to do is we're going to click on this piece, and when it gets to the very end, that piece is going to be there on the floor. So as we go down, that will come down onto the floor. And likewise, at the same point, this will stretch down and join up. I can't actually see it because he's in the way. Let me just move him. Yeah, so this bit here is going to come down, and he's not going to run out of the way like that. He's actually going to get squished. So let's put him back. So if we play this, but he's not getting squished, obviously. We need to actually do the squishing part now. Okay, so to get him to squish, we find the point there, maybe, where it sort of reaches him. And I'm just going to do a little movement. And what that does is it's going to add a keyframe there. And then go to here and squish like that. So what that should do is look like this. Okay. Okay, so a simple animation. Let's go to the room end. Let's drag in. So we've got this asset layer at the top. That we're still checking if we're pressing space, so this will be a good way to restart the game. Because I think it goes to level 1. So, because we made it go to level 1 rather than the next room. So let's get the end sequence and drag it in. Now, as you can see, it doesn't exactly fit dead on. Now, I'm not going to spend any time changing that, and I can't line it up. So I'm going to turn the grid off, or the grid snapping off, and I'm just going to pop him there. I'm probably going to cheat. I'm probably going to go into the tile there. Go to there. Probably build something at the top, like I don't know. It could be a pipe or something. Oh, that fits perfectly. That will do. Happy accident. So, yeah. So now we've got, we don't want it to we want the sequence to stop. So that one's okay, that one's okay. Yeah, this one here is the player. I don't know why it's got another frame on the end. We don't want that. Yeah, so we want the sequence to stop. I don't know why it's not stopping. It should. Oops, did not mean to do that. Let's just see if we can get to the ending of the game that way and look what it does. So we start the game, we get the key, we jump up, ooh, bit tricky, jump across, oh, I'm really bad at my own game. And then we get the key again, and this should allow us to go to that level. Yeah, it doesn't actually replay, so that's perfect. And then we could have a message saying press space to start. So I'm just going to do that really quickly. Really quickly. So I'm going to make a new sprite, create a sprite. I'm just going to make it probably 150 by 150 and apply and edit, and I'm just going to use the text tool, press space to restart. I'm not going to go into much detail with this, that will do. Rename the sprite, we'll call it S end text. We'll go to the room, end room, and then we'll get the S end text, put it on the asset layer, press space to restart. Yeah, it's not amazing, but it should work. So let's just test it. So we'll go again. If you've got a lot of levels, you can make one of the other levels your start screen to save you time. So press space to restart and it restarts the game. So we're starting to now get something that's resembling a proper game. In the next episode, we're going to add a creature to the game that can kill us. So that might be the last episode we do, and then it will be over to you to add more to it. I'll see you next time.